What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Rick's Scale RC. Thanks for tuning in. Today's just going to be a little update video. I wanted to let you guys know what was going on with the hot rod. I ran into an issue a couple videos ago, and I never brought it up in the videos to mention to you guys, just because I thought I'd come up with a master plan to fix it, and I don't think that's going to happen, so we're going to do something different. You know, the biggest issue I was having was in the front here. You can see how high these come up. Well, when I had the motor sitting in there, the headers were sitting right on these frame rails, which was causing the bell housing of the engine to be sitting like right on the top, right at the top of the cowl. So I basically couldn't get the motor sitting down far in there enough. And if I tried to do the frame over the exhaust, because it comes down in the back here, you know, the motor was sitting in there crooked, and like I said, I ignored it at first because I thought, oh, I'll come up with something for that. But I wasn't coming up with anything for that. And then, trying to correct it, I've moved the cab up on the frame twice now. And I've had to move the rear axle forward to make up for that. Well, now I can't even move the rear axle forward anymore. And it's really kind of stretched out in the back now. So between the back being too long, or at least looking too long, not being able to do the C-notch the way I wanted to do the C-notch, and my exhaust issue and not being able to sit the motor down between the frame rails enough, I'm just going to call it quits on this frame. I think at this point too, I can still hack this back section off, and we could build a cool chuggy out of this. So while it's still salvageable, I'm just going to stick a fork in it. We're going to call this one done, because I'm not happy with it. You know, another thing too is, I felt like it moved a little fast, man. Maybe I didn't think things through enough. Maybe I would have, you know, if I would have waited for all my parts to be here and could have been lining things up with all the parts in front of me, maybe this wouldn't have happened, but I'm glad I did it. It was a good learning experience. I even had the servo mounted in here. This is just some cheap thin brass plate that I used, and I had the servo in there mounted with the steering links. Maybe I'll even throw that in the video, a short clip of me driving this thing around. I mean, that was only... I just felt like it went too fast, you know. I should have taken a little bit more time with it. So, this is the new idea. We're going to start from scratch here and build this hot rod over again. Not that it was built to completion, but we're going to start over and get it back to where it was from scratch again. So, we're going to start with a chassis this time. I got my components. I got the rear axle. I have a front axle made for it. I have the engine. I have the grill. I got the leaf spring mounted to the front end. I got a cab. I have my motor, transmission. That's the other thing. I am going to, where did I just put it? Here it is. I will take the cross member out. We'll reuse that. But I'm going to make my own frame rails, and then, you know, we'll use this to conjoin them. But what I've come up with is I have something sitting underneath the flathead. It's actually like a, you know, like a medicine bottle cap. It was like 5/8 tall. It worked perfect. So anyway, so that's in there. So the engine's off the ground, and this is the design for the frame that I want to do, or I'm going to use, going to build, whatever. I'm also thinking I'm going to ditch the 4-link in the back and run a leaf spring. I don't know if you guys have seen any of cyanide tubes. Ratrod builds. His builds are amazing. He does really nice work too. But I've seen in the back he's actually done like a axle over leaf setup. And I just think that looks cool. So I'm gonna give that a shot. See how that works. I got all the hardware and shackles and mounts and everything I need for it, so we'll try that out. We can always go back to the 4-link, but you know, the 4-link takes up a lot of room. To have all those bars triangulated in here, it just you're not going to see it anyway. Again, I'm building a bed, so the leaf springs, we're just going to try it. It's just something different. If it doesn't work out, we'll go back to the 4-link, but we'll see how it goes. And then but that's it. That's, you know, we're going to build a frame for it, and we're going to switch it to a leaf spring in the back. At least as far as setting up the new frame with rear suspension, we're going to try to build it with leaves and see how it works out. If it doesn't work out well, or something about it I don't like, or it doesn't sit low enough, or whatever, we'll switch back to the 4-link. But I'm actually thinking, since I'm going to build my own chassis, it's more than likely going to be steel. I was thinking about doing aluminum, because here's my thoughts. Most of the time when these guys build these hot rods, one of the very first things they do is box the frames. So whenever people started lowering them or customizing them or putting big power under the hood, the first thing they did was box the frames. And then anytime you see someone buying a custom chassis for a hot rod build like this, the frames are always boxed. It's never a C-channel frame. It's always a boxed frame. So, with that being said, my thoughts are, why not just use plate? You know, rather than get, or you know, getting crazy trying to make a C-channel frame for it, I'm thinking about just using maybe like a 3/16 or a 1/4 inch thick plate. Either I was kind of thinking about aluminum just to keep it lightweight, and I think it would be plenty strong enough, especially once you bolt in some cross members. The RC 4-wheel drive Trail Finder 2s, their chassis are a billet aluminum, so I mean, I'm not going to be using billet aluminum, but I would think it would work. But we might do it out of steel too. That's kind of why this is sitting here in cardboard and we're not doing any work yet. I haven't made up my mind, because I am going to have to still make a leaf spring perch for it, and we might have to do something about motor mounts. So part of me thinks do it in steel. That way, if I need to, I can weld to it, and if I don't, great. But then if I don't, should I use the aluminum, you know? I'll decide when I get there. We'll see what they have available. You know, that's the other thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get what I want one way or the other with, you know. So we'll see. But that's my plan. You know, we're going to keep it low. We're going to come up here, and I'm going to go over the exhaust. And I'll try to put it in here, but if you've ever seen any, like a really time or period correct hot rod, something that was built like back in the day, where the guys used to drill the big like 2-inch and 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch holes in the frames, and then they would plug them with a piece of pipe. You know, they'd cut the hole out of the frame on both sides and then put a pipe inside that hole and weld up the edges, and it used to look, it still looks awesome. Really cool little feature they used to do to the hot rods back in the day. So I'm thinking I might want to try that. I'm thinking I might even come up a little higher and kind of taper it off, and maybe start back here with like a 1/2-inch hole, and then step the holes down to a smaller size going towards the front. I think I'm only going to do this top section. I probably won't go down or do the rest of it. Nothing else will be seen. So probably just do that section out the front. But But when I mocked this up, I wasn't, you know, I didn't completely think it through. But this is, see if I can show you with my ruler. I'm kind of thinking about doing something like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't think you can. But anyway, this top bar or section of the frame will kind of be taller in the back and then taper down to a point in the front, and it'll have different size holes drilled through, you know, the back being the biggest, and then step down as it goes forward. So that's where we're at with the hot rod. Trying to think. I haven't gotten anything, you know, anything new for it. So, like I said, I did have that servo mounted in the front. I did end up using the fingers don't want to work there. The double link setup. And with the bracket, it didn't work. Remember, if you guys remember, I told you I was going to take like one of these brackets and drill a second hole in it and then mount it to the end of the servo horn like that. Well, even with the second hole drilled in it, it didn't work right. It just, you know, it threw the geometry off. As that horn came swinging around, it was just, it just didn't work out. So I ended up losing the bracket and putting one of these on top of the horn and one below, and that works, but that looks like hell. So we're gonna have to do something else there. I wasn't happy with the way it looked. So yeah, we got plenty of work to do. We'll be getting some plate this week and getting started on that. And then something else I have new is got a new Jeep. This is the new Axial SCX-10-2, the CRC edition Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. I've wanted this truck since it came out. I'm a Jeep fan. I own a 97 TJ, with, you know, it's got a 5-inch lift on it, long arm kit, custom bumpers, all kinds of stuff. And then the wife drives a Jeep JK like this. So I'm a Jeep fan. I always have been. I don't drive the TJ every day. That's just kind of a toy. I actually got a Chevy pickup that I drive every day. But when this came out, I wanted it. I was like, I gotta have it. I wasn't fond of the ones with the, you know, the older ones they came out with. I think it was still on an SCX-10, the first version, but it had the top off with like the, you know, the like two-dimensional interior. I think it was. But my plans for this thing, I want to build a full interior. You know, I want to make this thing like the family truckster. I want to put a car seat in the back for the kid. You know, me and the wife will be cruising in the Jeep. So that's going to be coming after the hot rod's done. I'd really like to progress with the channel. I like doing this. I'm enjoying it. I definitely am learning a lot. You know, so I'd like to carry on and keep doing some things just to and keep communicating with you guys through the comments and stuff like that, and learning little tricks and tips that you guys, you know, want to share. But yeah, this thing is awesome too. It runs on it's capable of 3S, which is the biggest thing I've ever run. A lot of the trucks, you know, after you build an interior for them and put all that time and effort into them, you don't want to risk something stupid happening with a LiPo. So for the most part, I just keep nickel metal hydride packs, stick packs. That's just what I've run. And my buddy Mike at the hobby shop's like, if you're going to get this thing, you got to try the LiPo pack. I'm like, alright. So, I mean, my Slash runs on LiPos, but they're still just a 7.2 volt 2S LiPo. So I got the 11.1 volt 3S LiPo for this, and it's insane. I mean, I'd be half tempted to race the Slash with this thing now. It's got power, and then that power brought some power, and then there's power on top of that power that's carrying power. It's just got power on top of power for days, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it. And then it's really set up well. These little the little floor pans they put in them now, that's cool. These axles are neat. I almost got another trail honcho just for the simple fact that I have a trail honcho that's already got a custom styrene interior and stuff like that. So I thought maybe I'll just upgrade all my custom parts into the new version of the trail honcho, and then I would have another spare chassis to build something cool with. But once I got there and started talking to him, he talked me into this. He gave me a great deal on it too. You know, I definitely didn't pay full price for it. I was actually looking at the XJ, and I didn't want the XJ body at all. I really wanted the Cherokee, or I mean, I didn't want the XJ Cherokee. I really wanted the Wrangler, this. But the XJ Cherokee was coming in like a little closer to my price range, and still had all the good bells and whistles. You know, already had the light kit. It's already got all the steel links and steering links. Steel gears, stuff like that, and I just wasn't sold on that Cherokee body. And then me and Mike got to talking, and one thing led to another, and I brought home the Jeep. I think in the future I'll probably get rid of the stickers, and we'll probably paint the roof black, cut the windows out, and start building an interior for it with a roll cage and all. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this one, and there's so much out there for them. I thought it was really cool too how the wipers didn't come on it, the door handles didn't come on it, the hood latches do not come on it, but they're offered in the parts tree. You know, for the guys that are after the more scale thing, which I am. I thought that was really neat. So that was, you know, the first thing I had to do is I started drilling holes in the thing so I could mount all these hood latches, door handles, and wipers. It even came with the handle for the back. And the Nito tires are actually awesome. Them being glued on there are kind of whack. They wobble. But I think eventually what I'm going to do is take these tires off and put them on a set of beadlock wheels that I have, because like I said, I do like the tires. They work awesome. But that's where we're at, and then of course, now that I have a axial frame rails with the back section cut off, we're going to build a truggy with that. I've been wanting to do one for a while, and just couldn't bring myself to cut the back of the frame off, and now that it's already done with a set of steel frame rails, I'm going to go for it. We're going to build a truggy out of it. And I got the stock, you know, cross member for that, and I still have the axles for that. I pretty much have everything to build another truck now, so we're going to do it. But that, like I said, guys, I want to keep this going, so I got builds, I got stuff lined up. Hopefully the subscribers keep coming, and thanks again for all the new subscribers. I've had a couple just in the last couple days. Thanks for that, guys. I've also been checking out your videos, so that's been real cool too. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about before I sign off here. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Yeah, I believe I told you guys everything. But once I get some metal, we'll be getting another video out soon. I'm going to try to start getting them out more, more on a better schedule. Stop slacking off. But that's where we're at with everything. That's the new Jeep we got in the shop. And Hot Rod's going to get a new chassis. The old one just was not working out. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it to all the new subscribers. Thanks for the support, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.